pārttaṉaṉ pudumai yuyirvali kānta paruvadam odudaram midaணai பொறந்திடும் muyiriṉ cēṭṭaiyai yoḍukki orudara dabhimukha māha vīrttadait taṉpō lacalamāc ceydav viṉṉuyir balikoḻu miḍaṉ ōrttuymi ṉuyirgā ḻuḻamadi loḷiriv muyirkkoli yaruṇamā.
Today I'm going to be talking about verse 10 of Śrī Aruṇācala Padigam. The first 9 verses are mostly prayers, and prayers mixed with praise of Arunachala. But the last 2 verses, verses 10 and 11, Bhagavan is explaining specifically the power of Arunachala, and more particularly the power of the thought of Arunachala. The thought of Arunachala, we can interpret this as a metaphor for self-attentiveness, because Arunachala is our real nature. So attending to ourselves is, metaphorically speaking, thinking of Arunachala. But we shouldn't limit the meaning just to, we shouldn't take meaning to be just metaphorical. Bhagavan is very specifically talking here about the power of the hill, Arunachala. That it has this unique power that Bhagavan talks about in these 2 verses, and refers to in so many ways in other verses, both of Arunachala Padigam and of other verses in Arunachala Stuti Panchakam, the 5 hymns. In this verse, he begins by saying, in the first sentence he says, pārttaṉaṉ pudumai yuyirvali kānta paruvata. Pārttaṉaṉ pudumai means I have seen a wonder. Pudumai literally means newness, freshness, or novelty. But in this context it implies something wonderful. So pārttaṉaṉ pudumai, I have seen a wonder. What is that wonder? He says in the rest of the sentence, yuyirvali kānta paruvata. Vīr means soul. Vali is a verb that means to force, compel, or seize. It's here used as a relative participle. Sorry, as a relative participle. We can also take it as having an adverbial sense. Kānta, kāntam is a Tamil form of kānta, but a Sanskrit word that means desired, loved, agreeable, lovely, beautiful, charming, attractive, and it also means a magnet because of the magnet's power of attraction. It's a noun derived from the verb come, which means to desire, love, or wish for. So paruvatam is a Tamil form of paruvata, which means a hill. So yuyirvali kānta paruvata means the magnetic hill that seizes or forcibly attracts the soul. So the whole sentence, pārttaṉaṉ pudumai yuyirvali kānta paruvata, means I have seen a wonder, the magnetic hill that seizes or forcibly attracts the soul. Then the next sentence is the longest and also the most important one, because in this sentence Bhagavan explains how thinking of Arunachala turns our attention back within. The whole sentence is orutaram midaṉai yōrttiḍu muyiriṉ cēṭṭaiyai yoḍukki yorutanadu dabhimukha māha irtu adai taṉpō lacalamāc ceydav of viṉṉuyir balikoḻu. I'll go through it clause by clause. Orudaram midaṉai yōrttiḍu muyiriṉ cēṭṭaiyai yoḍukki. Orudaram means once. Midaṉai means this. Yōrttiḍu is a relative participle of a verb or, which means to consider, think, or be attentive to. Yōrttiḍu vuyirriṉ. Vuyir means the soul. So the soul who thinks of it once. And then the next word is vuyirriṉ cēṭṭaiyai. Cēṭṭaiyai is a Tamil form of the, in fact, in Tamil, it's in this context, Bhagavan used the word settai, which is a Tamil form of sheshta. A Sanskrit word means a movement, particularly movement of the limbs, action or activity. And in Tamil, it's particularly used in the sense of mischievous activity. And here we can take it to mean the mischievous activity of the mind. Any activity of the mind is mischievous. And yoḍukki is an adverbial participle of the verb yoḍukku, which is a causative verb, a verb that means to cause to subside or cease, to subdue, restrain, dissolve, or end. So the whole of this clause, Orudaram midaṉai yōrttiḍu muyiriṉ cēṭṭaiyai yoḍukki, means subduing the mischievous activity, implying mischievous mental activity, of the soul who thinks of it even once. It means refers to Arunachala. Then in the next clause he says, Oru tanadu abhimukam aha etu. Oru means one. It can also mean peerless. Tanadu is a genitive case form of tān. Tān is a pronoun, but in Tamil means self. It can mean oneself, itself, himself, depending on the context. Here we can take it as referring to ourself or to itself meaning Arunachala. Dabhimukha means is a Sanskrit word that means facing towards. Aha means to be, and etu means to pull or to drag or attract. So orutanadu abhimukha māha etu means pulling, implying or dragging or attracting, implying that soul, pulling that soul or pulling it to face towards itself. That can mean either pulling us to face ourselves or pulling us to face itself. But since Arunachala is our real nature, the implication here is that it draws our attention within to face ourself alone. So to face towards itself, and then Oru means the one. Here the one can mean the one that is peerless, and it refers to the infinite self-awareness that always shines in the heart as I. And then the next clause is Adai taṉpō llacalamāc ceydav. That means Adai means referring to the soul, that taṉpō, like itself. Llacalamāc means llacalamāc ceydav, making it motionless like itself. Chalam means movement, achala means motionless. That's why a mountain is referred to as achala, meaning that which is motionless. So Adai taṉpō llacalamāc, making it motionless like itself. And then in the main clause he says, viṉṉuyir balikoḻu. That means it accepts or consumes that sweet soul as bali. Sweet here implies spiritually ripened and pure. Bali is food offered in sacrifice. So when we think of Arunachala even once, it subdues our mental activity. That's the outward going movement of our mind. It draws us in to face ourself alone, to face itself alone, or that's our real nature. Thereby it makes us motionless like itself, because only the outward going mind is active. The inward facing mind, the outward going mind rises and engages in activity, thinking or whatever. The inward facing mind subsides and becomes motionless like Arunachala. So making it motionless like itself, it takes that the sweet soul who has thought of it, the mature soul who has thus turned within, it accepts it as bali, as an offering, as a food offered in sacrifice. This is in this sentence, Bhagavan is this is a very important sentence, because Bhagavan explains here the connection between Arunachala and the path of self-investigation. Arunachala has this unique power. If we think of Arunachala, it has this power to subdue the outward going flow of our mind, to make us turn within, to draw us back to face ourselves, thereby make us motionless like itself, and thereby it consumes us. So this is the unique power of Arunachala. This is such a this one sentence. In this one sentence, Bhagavan is explaining the whole significance of Arunachala. Why Bhagavan worshipped this mountain, praised it as God, because of this unique power it has. Because Bhagavan not only praised Arunachala as God, he also praised as Guru. The function of Guru is even above the function of God, because the function of Guru is to destroy the ego, which is the root of everything. And this is how Arunachala does that. So Arunachala is the Guru of all Gurus, the Adi Guru, Dakshinamurti itself. Then in the next sentence he says, ṇ. ṇ means this, referring to Arunachala, or ṇ can mean, it's referring to all that is said in the previous, this whole, what Arunachala does, ṇ is referring to this. N means what, but it's often what is used in the sense of what a wonder. So ṇ means what a wonder is this. That's what it implies. And then finally he ends this verse with a sentence giving us very say in a very forceful manner, he's giving us advice. ṇōrttuymi vuyirkkoli ļuḻamadi vuyirkkoli Arunamā. That means, O souls, be saved by thinking of the great Aruna hill, this killer of the soul, who shines in the heart. That's the same verb that he used in the first clause of the second sentence. That is, orutaram midaṉai yōrttiḍu vuyirriṉ yoḍukki. So if we think of it even once, it will subdue our mental activity, he said there. So here he says, be saved thinking of it. Be saved by it implies ōrttu is adverbial participle. Vuyirriṉ is an imperative, or so it means be saved. Be saved. Thinking of it. That means it implies by thinking of Arunachala, be saved. Vuyirkkoli is an address to souls. He's addressing all of us. ļuḻamadi vuyirkkoli Arunamā. Arunamā means this great Aruna hill. Vuyirkkoli means Koli means a killer, a murderer. So Arunachala is the killer of the vuyirkkoli, the killer of the soul. In other words, the annihilator of the ego, that which annihilates ego. And where does this great Aruna hill shine? It shines ḻuḷamadi, which shines within the heart. So Arunachala is shining within the heart of each of us as our own real nature, shining as I. That is what will destroy. It's only by knowing what we actually are will destroy the ego. So what we actually are, that is what is represented outwardly in the form of this great Aruna hill. So though Arunachala appears outwardly in the form of a hill, it's always shining within us as I. So if we think of it even once, it will subdue our outward going activity. It will draw us back within to face itself, and thereby it will make us motionless like itself, and it will feed upon us. So in this verse, Bhagavan very, very clearly explains to us what is the unique power of Arunachala and how it functions by subduing our outward going activity, the outward going activity of our mind, drawing us back within to face itself, and thereby making us motionless like itself, and thereby feeding upon us. And he says, the next verse, he continues the same idea by advising people to be killed by drinking the medicine of thinking of Arunachala. So again, in the next verse, he's very much stressing the power of the mere thought of Arunachala.